The powerboat racing is the most dangerous thing I've ever done. You're actually going along, probably doing 85, 90 mile an hour, and then if it's really nice, you probably touch 100 mile an hour. It's exhilarating. The adrenaline gets going.
As a young boy, Cliff Smith fell in love with powerboats growing up in the seaside town of Littlehampton. Although he came from the wrong side of the tracks, he's managed on a dustman's income to become a serious contender in this hugely expensive sport. Last year, he achieved his ultimate goal. He won the most prestigious British prize, the Isle of White Needles Trophy. Cliff has survived in a sport which is 5 times more dangerous than Formula One motor racing. On average, 2 people are killed every year. But the danger on Cliff's mind this season is of a different kind. Into this world of weekend warriors has come a challenger from America. A multi-millionaire Goliath with money to burn, time to fill, and a serious attitude to his hobbies.
Back off, we go behind him.
Winning it's that rah-rah feeling when you cross the line and you just jump out of your skin and say, this is the greatest thing that's ever happened to me. You can't think about business problems, you can't think about women problems, you can't think about most anything else other than get this thing across the water.
100 miles an hour on a track that never stays still, powerboat racing is a sport for the daring few. Who will be this year's victor? Cliff Smith in his homemade Hulk, or Charles Burnett III in his £200,000 state-of-the-art showboat?
I'm sure there are those that feel that I don't perhaps bring to powerboating what they would want me to, but at the end of the day, I think we're all looking for powerboating to become more successful, more accepted as a sport around the world, and with any amount of success, people become jealous, perhaps, and don't understand our motives.
Charles Burnett will soon be 40. He's planning to celebrate the occasion with a wildly extravagant fancy dress party. An only child, Charles is an heir to a food and beverage fortune worth an estimated £2 billion. Free of financial worries, he invests his time winning races. This season, riding the best-funded boat on the circuit, he's taken every race he's finished. All that remains is to grab Cliff's Needles Trophy and to be crowned European champion.
Do you think it's fair racing in this country when you have more resources than anyone else?
Oh, no, but life isn't fair, is it? I mean, there is nothing fair about it. It's not fair that I was born who I was and somebody else was born in India with nothing. You just have to get on with it and accept that. As far as the other racers go, I think that it's the same in Formula One motorsport, isn't it? I mean, some teams have vast resources to compete and others don't. We need to pull the jacket back a bit, Crep, somehow. Are we going to pin that back or something?
We can.
I'm glad they left the fur off the chest. That one made it even hotter, wouldn't it?
Well off, not as well off as Charles, but then I've worked for my money, so you appreciate it more then. The kids are happy, and the wife's happy, hope so. It's good, but we've been rock bottom and all, so we've had both worlds, and
What about this one?
hopefully we'll stay where we are now. Luke, just get the needles. Pick it up. Pick it up. Gently. And that's the one everyone. That's the one everyone wants to win, and the Yank especially wants to win it because I was fortunate to win it last year.
You do it clean.
Oh, waste of time, look. You just got to beat him, haven't you? It's them versus us. So we will win. Kisses in quick.
I've got the dog.
Is that it?
Yeah.
Bye-bye.
Ring me.
I'll ring you when I get there. Right, Doc, Smith feet. Good girl.
They're dressed as heaven creatures or God's angels. Then they're allowed into heaven and they can walk through the portico and into the hall where they're going to have champagne cocktails. We're going to have a jazz band up
My
here.
grandfather felt that a lot of the owners of bakeries and milling houses in England would sell to him because, sadly, many of the sons had been killed in the First World War. And he was able to come over and offer to buy these small milling concerns from them. So from there he put together Associated British Foods, which was quite successful, and he branched out into Germany and South Africa and so forth and put together this global empire, which was really a very remarkable achievement in one man's lifetime.
And it's all going to be spread out.
Lots of lobsters prepared for that.
Huge numbers of lobsters. Got them this morning.
In fact, this is the site of my first job over here when I was 9 and 10, working in the toy department at Fortnum & Mason. And my grandfather rewarded me there with 100 shares of Fortnum & Mason stock for my efforts selling toys.
Do you think you've been spoiled?
I guess in a lot of ways, but I try and at least take advantage of those opportunities and not just live the life of a spoiled brat. Well, our family fortunately has a few probably recognizable brands out there. Burton's and Fortnum & Mason and Sunblessed Bread. Ravita, Twinings Tea, Jackson's Tea, Brown Thomas stores in Ireland.
Standard with toast and beans.
Yeah. Usual for me.
Yeah, I've got yours down.
Toasted beans, plain.
Right, eyes down, looking.
Oh, here we go. Grab up. Starving.
I bet it's really big today, watch.
Yeah. We've got large portions today.
More beans than normal.
This gets us through the day, doesn't it, boys? We eat this and then that's it. Then we have the caviar tonight, don't we? Put it on. Sorry? You had the Needles trophy up there, didn't you, mate?
Yeah, I did. That's the Needles trophy. Of course, that trophy was nice, you know. I think it's terrific because, you know, Little Hampton wouldn't have had anything like that. Yeah, he done well, didn't he? Especially for a local boy.
I was an engineer, I started off in an engineering apprenticeship on the fabricating, welding, which is what we did then. And then served my apprenticeship there, and obviously 5 years in a workshop, you want to get out. So I went out, got my HGV, did a bit of removals, and then I was a dustman. I've been man for 6 years. I just didn't like being told what to do, really, by anyone. It used to get me wound up by people telling me to do this, do that, so I thought, well, the only way to do it is run your own business, so that's what I did. Now, we have the tank company getting the tanks. We do the recycling for the local authority, which is the cans, plastics, glass, all the bottle makers, and also the dog poo.
What's your boss like?
He's very good. He's a nice bloke. I want to be a race driver, just like Cliff.
In the 80s, everything was booming. You were buzzing. I had 20 blokes working for me in the 80s. I've got 7 now. Put it back. The turnover's probably half of what it once used to be. We used to earn a lot of money, which got us onto the powerboat racing. It's not brilliant, but it's there. Struggle now in the 90s, isn't it? Everyone struggles in the 90s.
He'll be here, I promise you. In the end, it will all work out. I promise you, the party will be good when it, you know, he will be here.
Where are they? Where are they? Hurry up! I'm out of vehicles. Got nothing for the gas.
Preparations continue for the party to mark Charles's 40th, or as he prefers to call it, his second 20th. He wants to show off his powerboats and collection of vintage cars, his 2 great passions in life.
Can you go a little faster, please? I mean, for goodness sake, make that go a little faster. Hurry up. Get on that side. Just back it in over there. You're part of hell, so you've got to be on this side here, next to the Abbot. On my father's heavenly vehicle.
How much do you spend on powerboat racing?
I would say probably too much. But it's difficult to define. It depends on the year, how many races you do, and so forth. It also depends how many classes you enter. So it's kind of nebulous without giving you a full budget. I think I'll better leave it at that.
I reckon Charles spends £1 million, easy.
Put the holes in, yeah?
How much I've spent the last 3 years powerboat racing? Probably 60 grand. Better than buying fags, isn't it?
And if you pass me the engine cover down, I can get the 2 hatches down.
Yeah, probably spent 60 grand, probably more than that, really.
And then the back.
I'm known in the powerboat race as a scrounger, because I actually scrounge most of it, that's what I do pay for it.
If you just leave your side clips off down, because I've got to put petrol in that side.
Steadier, There's Lucas on the little chestnut, my middle daughter Erin on the bay, and Kimberly, my oldest daughter, is on the grey. The grey is a friend of Kimberly's because Kimberly's in between horses at the moment. She's outgrown her own horse, so we're looking for another one. But because of powerboat racing, engines and things like that come first, so Kimberly's got to wait for her pony. If money's no object and you can afford to buy the big and the best, then fine, but Cliff's not in that league. As I said earlier, my girls need new ponies. I'd rather have a new pony than a new powerhead. I don't like the power and the speed, and I like to put my feet firmly on the ground. I like to know where I am. I don't know what he does get out of it. But yes, he does say he gets a buzz out of it, and what that buzz is, I don't wish to know.
The quay at Poole Harbour and the first round of the European Championship is soon to begin. Every racer with a crash helmet and life jacket is here for a good weekend sport. But Cliff is struggling. His boat, always temperamental, has developed engine trouble. With time running out and no money to fix it, his chances of retaining his trophy are in jeopardy.
We need to borrow a compression tester or no?
Let's see Lewis. Lewis has just gone. Chris, you won't find Lewis, he's in the parade.
Go see Pasco. Pasco will have one. Time to go and play cricket, I think.
He currently drives, but he's not a very good mechanic either.
I'll take it all back line. It's not just you, is it?
Yeah.
My good friend Colin lent me a left-hand gearbox. On the terms of if I break it, I've got to pay for it.
Hang on, Chris, take the head off. That's the best thing. Just undo the head bolts.
Cliff is an inheritor of a strong tradition of amateurism in British powerboat racing, a tradition that means helping your rival to the start line, a tradition that may soon be over. Charles' team, Vulture Ventures, prides itself on its professionalism. It runs 4 boats, 2 large and 2 small, has a purpose-built workshop, a mobile maintenance truck, employs a team manager, 3 full-time mechanics, several part-timers, and a clothes designer. Although the team is nicknamed after Charles' restaurant chain Los Locos, the Mad Ones, he imposes strict discipline on all team members.
He just wants his team to go out and be the best and put all the rest, really. Which is wrong. He puts a curfew on his team not to drink on a Saturday night, and he takes it a bit serious. Whereas if you were going to do it professionally, you go to Dubai and race out there and take it serious out there. But this is just local meets, isn't it?
I'm sure people do feel jealous. I think in the back of your mind, you always want to be accepted by the people that you're racing, your peer group in the racing, and you hate for someone to feel that the only reason that you're doing this or able to do this is because you're richer, and the only reason you're achieving your success is because you're richer.
Charles has flown his mother over from Canada to watch him compete for the championship. His father is too ill to come.
How do you feel about your son racing?
Scared to death, I guess, really. But I know that it's what he wants to do, so I have to give him any support I can.
Now, Mr. Lewis, you can have it back now. I've had it through a year.
Thank you, well done.
Tony Lewis, man who organises all the races.
This is his trophy, so there you are.
Fine, thanks, Cliffy.
We are only 3 minutes away from the start, according to my watch.
Sunglass. Oh, they're in the boat.
Perhaps Cliff can't make his impression with resources, but he can certainly make his impression with being annoying to us and just being out there and making obscene gestures and trying to spray us down. And any number of those things could set us off our goal, I guess.
Sure, Cliffy will try to edge us out of our position as usual.
He already knows that is booked. Go, 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 go! About 90 is running.
My mother cheers me on from the helicopter. It's wonderful to know she's up there.
Yeah, something big.
I am the only child, and she doesn't see that as a very productive sport, really. The fact that I could be killed at any time, and she's then wasted 40 years of bringing me up and trying to turn me into something of use to the world. All of a sudden, they're gone in 30 seconds.
Ken's on our inside there.
There's 2 people killed just this last year in racing. I was actually behind the victory team boat that turned over. He turned over a few hundred yards in front of me. They did have the helicopters directly over him. The divers went in and retrieved him within basically 30, 45 seconds, but unfortunately he was already dead. The force of the water coming in basically snapped his neck.
Don't want to die on a powerboat. When you drive a powerboat, you drive it to what you think that the boat would take. Certain people push it. I'm not like that.
More than halfway into this race, and there have been no fatalities, but plenty of minor disasters. 4 of the 6 contenders for the championship are already out. 1 has flipped over, 1 has stopped to help, 1 has lost an engine, and 1 is just too slow. Cliff and Charles have a clear field. Then, with the needles in sight, it's suddenly all over.
Announcement that online racing has retired. That's M13 Cliff Smith, and so that beautiful Needles trophy is going to go to a new winner.
It's going to be the run to the line here with the camera.
Yeah.
Charles Burnett is halfway towards having his name engraved as European champion, but he can still be thwarted. Cliff still has a chance if he can win next Sunday. That gives him, and anyone he can persuade to help him, just 4 days to repair his boat.
I'm not quite sure how people dress.
So how are you feeling?
Sick. Gutted. You get drunk tonight. Get the boat home first and go get drunk.
Congratulations. Well done, boys. Great race. Yes. I'm back at home now.
Oh, well done.
3-3.
For the t-shirt.
Sarah Donahue, round the back. Through hell, before you come into heaven. Keep it near.
We better check I'm invited first. I think I just sneaked in.
It's the night of the party. 220 of Charles' closest friends have been brought here by his cousin and neighbour, Mary Montague. She's organised the whole party with an open-ended budget of over £100,000.
Oh, the Christmas is here.
I think probably this party defines wretched excess, but then again, I don't do it every summer, so, I mean, after all, it's a short life. Lord Montague's daughter's been very, very great help, a stalwart here in setting the party up and guiding me around the intricacies of a stately home.
Absolutely riveting. The chance is going to kill me. I'm eating all the caviar for everybody.
I guess one obvious thing is I haven't managed to get married yet, which perhaps some would say was an achievement worth having. Soon I've managed to get this birthday over with, then marriage will be on the next front. I'll go and hunt down someone. Everybody's obviously been waiting here for some time for me.
It is, Charles. Oh, your
It
eyes
is.
are really red.
Thank you. My eyes are in my normal state. So. I guess you find women that are certainly ready to follow you around the world, but for what good reason? And then what kind of woman, what kind of person do I want a relationship with? Do I want somebody that just follows me? Do I want somebody that has their own career that I might not see very much? I mean, I don't even know myself what the answer is to that question. I'm probably more afraid of getting married than I am of any kind of ocean race.
Bedtime.
The flip side, Wells, is that you don't necessarily have a lot of friends. You don't know sometimes the new people you meet, why they particularly want to become your friend. I think it's hard to buy respect, and it's hard to buy girlfriends, I guess, wife, whatever.
Charles. Smile.
I lent someone some money one time to buy a car that he very much desired, and then he never paid the money back, and he just told me basically that I was trying to buy his friendship. That was the only reason I gave him the money, and that I didn't deserve to get it back. I think it makes you a lot more withdrawn sometimes when you're betrayed by people. You have what you think are the best intentions, and they turn against you completely. Oh dear. I told me to avoid that.
So I'm going to get changed.
How long are you going to be now then?
Okay.
What time are you picking me up in the morning?
The Seahorse Floating Restaurant in Littlehampton Marina is the latest of Cliff's business ventures. As with his other enterprises, he entrusts his family to run it.
Borrow the bar stool. Do
There he is, he's coming.
He's not, he's working there.
No, we've got middle. My brother-in-law drives one of the lorries. We've got his mum's husband drives the big bus cart. We've got Karen running the seals, which is my sister, my eldest sister. My nephew works on the boat and all. Obviously Sharon runs the office, which is the wife.
It's been a busy summer, and Cliff's frequent racing absences are causing problems.
What do you mean they didn't get what you ordered, what you wanted?
Yeah.
And they didn't put it on there?
Yes. So there's been a big row.
So why didn't they put it on there?
Because they didn't receive a check in time. And when you were around the weekend?
No, fair enough.
You're not?
No, Monday.
And then you're back Tuesday?
Yeah, working.
Where?
London.
Because I need Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday.
You can't have it, I told you.
And Friday off, Clifford, because I haven't had a day off all summer, and it's the end of the summer, and I'm going to have a couple of days off. So we need cover. Cold beer. So we need cover for next week. On one of the lorries, that's all. I've covered here, but we want the lorries covered because can you look at the boiler while you're here as well?
But he doesn't see us. I mean, like Cow's weekend, he's dragging me along. I don't want to go, but he's dragging me along. So he won't see the kids that weekend. And last weekend, when it was the pool race, we didn't see him that weekend. And it's not only that the race; it's the week up to the race. You know, in the evening. So we don't see him then either. And then when he does come in, he comes in miserable because he hasn't done this right and he hasn't done that right, and something else is wrong with the boat and something else is wrong with the engine, so he's miserable. So we just try and keep out of his way when he's racing, really. For the whatever it is, 4 months of racing, we don't really see a lot of him.
You're not doing anything, it hasn't moved.
Yeah, sounds like
Oh, yeah, stop, you're in the wrong one.
No, I'm on the right one.
I'm going to get a spanner in there.
Let's turn it round now.
I come here as a gamekeeper to start with, around about 1960. Then it ended up as looking after the gardens and mowing the lawns, and I just carried on. I'm just getting some stuff for his breakfast. Raspberries. Yeah, he likes his fruit bowl in the morning. Now, if I want a sandwich, I go in the kitchen and have one. But it wouldn't before, perhaps you wouldn't get one, you know. You wait, Charles. Come on, time to get up. Right.
I have a house in Florida and a house in Texas, and I have the house here in England. A lot of people have a base. They grow up in one place. They don't move around. They know when they go back home, they're welcomed by all their friends. Something I guess that I miss. My parents left for Bermuda when I was born, so I didn't even see them for 6 months. So it's hard to think of a home base that I have. Anywhere in the world, I guess. People say to me, well, aren't you glad to get back to your own bed? And I say, well, I don't really have my own bed. It could be in a hotel here or a house there or whatever. Sometimes it's a bit daunting walking up the stairs and seeing 10 bedrooms and trying to decide which one to sleep in tonight. Being an only child, I'm used to being on my own, doing for myself. I can do most anything that I want to. I can go to Bangkok tomorrow. I can go do the Peking to Paris rally next year. It's just so great. I mean, it's wonderful to be able to think that you don't have a structured life. And I like to think of myself as a universal kid enjoying life. The fact that I might have to grow up is a very traumatic thought for me.
Can I thank you all for coming to our safety briefing this morning. 36 running of cows. Well, welcome to you all.
3 days before the race, the Cows Powerboat Committee meet to discuss face-saving tactics should a serious incident occur.
May I say, in the event of a fatality, that should be kept quiet as far as the open channels are concerned until it is proven what the situation will be, and it will only be me that authorises the detail of what is going on.
Right, well, we did have that misfortunate situation last year, and John Walker's office on the press and media side dealt with it brilliantly.
They dealt with it exemplary last
and
year.
there is a laid down procedure. John, just tell us in the...
Nobody else speaks to any outside inquiry other than through press office. In other words, we are the voice of the committee in terms of all accidents, major and fatalities.
Who deals with next of kin?
I took part in some of the earlier races when finished in Torquay. Well, the Cows Classic is the classic. It's the oldest race in the world. It's been going this year. We ran the 36th consecutive running of the race, which is more than any other race in the world. In those days, we took our suitcases with us, and there was a gala dinner at the Imperial Hotel in Torquay, and a dance, and then when the hangover, when you had recovered the next morning, you got back in your boat and raced back. And then we had another prize giving here. And of course there were many more boats in those days. Everybody pay for their own boats, and really it was an amateur sport, and they went and had a good time and enjoyed doing it.
This is Helen Griffin with the BBC's Solent weather. At the moment we've a southerly, force 4 or 5 over coastal waters, and that's going to increase to a force 6 by the end of the afternoon. The clouds are going to thicken from the west during the afternoon. Quite a windy day in prospect. That wind
Thursday night, it's 9 o'clock, still working, it's raining, wind's picking up. The problem with this boat is a cat, and it needs anything like a force 2 is like acceptable. Anything over there, it gets a bit rough. It's dangerous for the boat and all. Obviously Charles Burnett's praying for this weather, so he can go a lot faster because he's got a monohull. What he's doing as he's welding, he's putting the feed into the rod into the welding. As he's welding it, it's splitting. Every time he puts the heat on, the transom's splitting down, so he's chasing it down. So as he's chasing it, the crack's getting bigger and bigger. So, touch and go for cows.
While Cliff continues to patch up his boat, Charles is able to steal a march on his rival.
We're just launching the boat. We're going to go testing because the weather's picked up a bit. It's quite windy, so we're expecting a bit of a rough sea on Sunday. So we're hoping to do some speed testing today, but we've had to reschedule everything. We're going to do some rough water testing, which means we're running different propellers.
Test driving a powerboat at top speed is no less dangerous than racing, as Charles discovered earlier this year when he experienced what all racers fear most.
Whoa! Yeah, we're there. Squeeze back more. Yeah, keep on it. Whoa!
Incredibly, Charles and his teammate escaped from this crash with little more than stiff necks.
Death is not a fear for me. If something's going to happen, I'd much rather be dead than I would left, just as a vegetable or whatever. The greatest fear is probably ending up as my father did, with his mind intact but unable to move or help himself. He was diagnosed with Parkinson's disease. He was very young. He was only 38 years old, younger than I am now. I very much missed the chance to, let's say, compete with him. I couldn't go out and play tennis against him. I couldn't have his guidance in business or in any of my activities. He used to race himself. He used to race hydroplanes in the 30s. But then as he became more ill, he was restricted completely in his activities. I guess in a way I'm making up for what he's missed out on in life.
The day before the final showdown. All the boats have been repaired, and the teams head off for Cowes on the Isle of Wight. If Cliff can avoid more breakdowns, his chances of winning are high, since his boat, with its 3 engines, is more powerful than Charles. Despite the forecast of heavy weather, the day starts fine.
I'd like to start with a comment about the weather, which at the moment is somewhat confusing. We started this morning with weather forecasts that were saying that today would be pretty bad, tomorrow would improve, and, for example, drop to about force 4 in the evening. That may not be the case, and it may be, in fact, during the day 5 to 7 southwesterly, gusting beyond that in rainy squalls.
Cows is the most expensive race of the year. Cliff has left paying half the entry fee till the last moment. Now he's ready, cash in hand.
Come to sign in, darling, so quick as possible.
I need £250. No?
You're in.
£2.50 between you.
I've just made some.
Don't give me that.
£50 notes.
No, we rely on him. No, I haven't.
Shall I flip you for the tenner?
No.
Go on.
No.
Go on, if you lose.
The way that it always happens with you, we always
I'll take
lose.
the £20. If you win, I'll keep it. Fair, isn't it?
No. Anything that
Is
you're
he busy?
involved in, Mr. Smith, is not fair.
Tim, we're £10, you've got no change, so what we said is, we flip the coin.
But she needs
How
to
much for a tenner?
Yeah, if you win, you keep it. If you lose, I'll take
Yeah, we've got
The tenner.
She needs
Okay.
to see us to sign
Your
it.
coin or my
She
coin?
hasn't seen us to sign it. So,
Okay.
yeah, I know. I'll sort her out.
Hedge.
Here he says you can see him do a 360 degree of the wheel.
It's at that point
there,
he's
it's now out of the
desperately
water.
trying to bring
so
it back, isn't he?
It's clear that nothing's going to affect it
The
then.
glass is flying off.
I've seen that before. Oh dear.
Cliff.
I'm all right, Shane, I can do it. I know what I'm doing. I was into seeking it.
Cliff, you need to put a towel down first.
Yeah, especially on this car. It's not one in the hall.
Tell us about this do then, Cliff.
This do is it's meant to be the drivers. On the Friday night they have a big do organised by the Cows Committee. It used to be the Martini Party, but obviously they've gone bankrupt now, so it's sponsored by it's sponsored by Tim Powney's committee. It's not really the drivers' thing because there's no beer there. Of course, all us racing drivers like beer. It's just loads and loads of gin, Bacardi, Martini, and basically that's it. Everybody goes and gets drunk. It's not really our scene, really. There's a lot of hoo-ha Henrys there and snobs and people like that. That don't really associate with us, do they, Sharon? No.
No, they're just out for a cheap night.
Our expense.
Yeah, they're £500 entry fee. Which is extortionate, but there you go.
She's an adorable wife for the race, aren't you, darling? Come to support me today, haven't you?
If we break down, we've lost it. But if we can finish, there's every chance in the world we'll win this Europeans and add it to our rostrum. Now, part of that is there's obviously a disciplined approach, and we're the most professional team out there, and we're going to stay that way. So let's keep it and win.
All right, I can do better.
A little bit dried out now?
Anything you can do, I can do better. Takes me longer to get out.
There's no beer in it. So it's I only drink beer.
What did you say? I said, Father Christmas is here.
Because Cliff in his way is quite a rebel. I mean, he doesn't like to conform possibly any more than I do. I guess sometimes I feel compelled to conform, whereas I don't think he feels compelled to conform at all.
Envy Charles? No, not really. No, I don't envy him. Yeah, he's got unlimited spending money, hasn't he? So probably Charles wouldn't win a powerboat race unless he didn't have that boat. But as to envy him, no, I don't envy him.
Fly it in.
Josh, can I put this on my boat?
They were impressed with the photograph on the boat. The one there. Same angle.
The morning of the race. The Cows' safety officials hitch a ride with Charles to check the weather conditions. They can't afford a helicopter of their own. Charles stacks the odds in his favour by surveying at first hand the whole course. parts of which are more dangerous than any other in the world. Everyone else has to rely on a computer printout from the Met Office.
The weather forecast is not encouraging. It is force 5 to 6, gusting to 7.
I don't think there'd be an adequate safety cover it.
Strong wind.
So what happened is all the racers would get out there, and if someone gets into trouble, there's no boat to go and help them. When you get past the Needles and go around...
Well, I'm at the
you're just
fairway,
one boat.
boy.
Yeah, just one boat.
Well, we'll look after you.
Yeah, there.
We'll be there.
But like, if you're there and we're going around Poole Bay and then coming back, you'll probably see another 3 boats. I've done it. I've been to Gosport and raced at Gosport, and all the marked boats and safety boats come in, and we were still out there racing.
We shan't come into the finish. Have a good race.
What about helicopter cover then? Aren't you covered with
I ain't
that?
got no money. Charles has just got his own helicopter, just covers his boat. So he won't be with us. And these guys here, see, it's not cat weather, but even on say a full 7 is rough. Someone gets killed.
It's going to be horrendous conditions. Already see the waves. Just be hanging on for dear life, basically. The driver's going to be holding the wheel because nothing else he can do. Hoping that I don't make a mistake. I'm in.
I would say that from outside perspective, I'm happy, and internally, pretty happy. I guess my ultimate goal is, as Cliff is able to do, is to get married, have some children. You know, he has a home life, a relationship, and I think that would be very nice to have.
My life? Definitely actually done quite a lot. Achieving my life, what can I do? I don't know, I've done it already. A wife, kids, mortgage.
Sounds a bit silly, perhaps, but I'm sure my ultimate goal or dream or whatever is to see the possibility of going up into space. I think that if we could have a few space cruiser races or whatever, as it were, I think that would be absolutely the ultimate.
A waste of time and a waste of money. Well, you come here all weekend, 5 minutes out there and you're back again. And how much does that cost? But you're not staying here to fiddle about with that now, are you?
No, I'm going to get dressed and go and get drunk.
No, you're going to get dressed and we're going home. You can fiddle about with that at home, Cliff.
Can we go and have a drink first?
What are you staying for? What are you staying for?
Can I have a change and a beer first?
Yeah, but what do you want to stay for Friday?
I'm not staying for it.
Right, so we can get the 2 o'clock ferry.
European Class 2 champion. I'm delighted that he's secured his championship here in Cowes. And I'm talking none other than Charles Burnett III and Peter Dredge in their boat M1, Putsy Buzzard. Well done, Charles.
Next Wednesday at 9, acclaimed director Ken Loach's first full-length documentary for BBC television, following the current plight of the dock workers of Liverpool.